So one of the things that I noticed when I was reading these regulations is that there were different types of regulations for different zones, and this had to do with what kind of matter they were trying to regulate. So, for example, they were really concerned about the supply of water, rightfully so. And so there were a lot of restrictions around wells, what you could do within a certain radius of a well. So you were prohibited to have any activity involving any kind of blood or flesh or dung or anything like that within a well, or any sort of chemical activity. And I think that obviously makes sense. And that's something that maybe you wouldn't necessarily know unless you really kind of looked into the details of this. So this was the research that was done with the regulations. And then another paper that I was involved in was with the director of the project that I worked on, Professor Guy Geltner. So he collected a data set basically of the enforcement of these regulations. And so was really interesting then to look at those two data sets, to on the one hand look at the regulations themselves, and then look at their enforcement and see what kind of areas officials focused on or their attention was drawn to, because they could go around and report things, or you could also report, if your neighbor, for example, left something that was noxious. And so, yeah, it really gives you this kind of really granular insight into the public health aspect of life.